Alafia, good morning. It's a beautiful morning, and let me tell you, it took a lot of meditation for me to come on here right now because I noticed something very important. But before I get into that, let me talk about the logistics and the facts and solutions according to me. Now, I'm learning how to do YouTube more, and so I learned how to do YouTube Studio. So I was able to see comments on my videos. And remind you, I've only been doing them for like a year, and it hasn't been easy. This it was to help my anxiety and to try to find, friends in a social circle, and you know, ooh, these killer ants be on 10 up in Florida. So as long as the good outweigh the bad, I can keep doing it. But it's spooky because I had to watch the female YouTubers like Cynthia G had a damn gun on her page talking about some men threatened her. Like, what's up with that? And so I had to watch like her, ES, and them get bullied. And I kind of knew if I talked about or did certain things that would happen to me, and I had to kind of just talk about it just so I could feel safe. So let me go back 8 months ago, and this is my practice. I'm going to address the few comments that I have, and I appreciate ES for doing that because I know that some of these people came from your page, so I appreciate that. Somebody says, I can't see the names. It says, Be steadfast, Queen. I saw you on ES's live stream and I like your energy, but boy, was it a tough task to find you. I searched around on YouTube and had to Google as well. Keep seeking and being just you, sis. Only a few will probably understand you, but it don't even matter as long as you're living your truth. Blessings. And that's what I like. I like people being nice. To be like, fight when it's necessary, but if you don't have to, come on. And I had, the response, let me go back. He responded to me for the time that I got on that wrong social media page and I was evaluating that art. Like, I thought I was on an art page, and it was with a woman, man, and a police officer, and it looked like, he beat her up. And I was like, men don't listen. I was like, don't you evaluate the piece? And he was like, this ain't that type of. And I apologized and moved on, but I felt really bad because everybody was seeing it and saying something about it, and some woman offered me to taste the rainbow if I was so mad at the men. Uh, but that was like 8 months ago. And then the other one, when I was in Jamaica and I was talking about going through the airport security and that white man who got to go through, and a security guard that asked me to marry him. Whoever this is says, "Are you a Scorpio?" No, I'm not a Scorpio, but I'm on the cusp. I consider myself to have more Sagittarius traits when it comes to my regular life because Sagittarius, we just like playful. We like to kick it. We don't hold grudges. If you give us a reason, like a logical reason, we can go either way. We're not ones to get our shine on and keep being mad for a long time. It's draining. So, in my opinion, if you do the African spirituality, Obatala and Sagittarius have a lot in common. So, no Scorpio, but my birthday is November 22nd, 1983. I don't remember what time I was born, but I know it was like late at night. So, the only time I feel Scorpio is when I feel like vengeful, like I know I can do some damage. But my Ori and my ancestors told me, do not do that anymore. Last time I was getting revenge, it drank the shit out of me. Revenge ain't good. And I said spiritual journey meeting Bobo Ashanti, Maroon family and friend. And somebody was like, love it. That's when I went to Jamaica. I went to the Hills in Kingston. Uh, Shanna Smith, high priestess, Jamaican high priestess, and this handsome young man. I can't remember his name, but they call him like the fireman or something because he blows the fire with out of his mouth. And he's got like I recognized him immediately. Had those bubbly eyes. I was doing Orisha work and tracing my family lineage. And then the other one is somebody just giving me a link saying that they helping artists build business. And that was like 7 months ago. And the mural that me and Sean did, somebody said, now that is a beautiful mural, so much talent, and you so gorgeous. Thank you. And somebody said, hey girl, I don't know who that is. Somebody gave me a thank you to you. And then this is the bad, no, I got two more good ones. Somebody said, how can I reach you, sister? My name is, and then somebody was like, what? When I said, what I heard was not what the Rastaman said. Because sometimes what happens when you get really spiritual and deep, you can misinterpret and kind of live before your time. And when I was in Jamaica, I was picking up all of this Ngungun and this intensity. And you know, if you speak English, you know, you don't hear patois or other language the same way. Even if you do know the language, it might be a different way, like you never know. So it sounded like when I asked the high priestess, I was like, so what can, and there I was still concerned about people besides myself. I was like, what can Americans that want to get in tune to culture, what can they do, you know, to come in? And every really old elder, chief, priestess, and I'm talking about in all cultures, they always said, even my own people was like, they selfish, don't want to get dirty, don't want to live in the woods, they don't listen, lazy, you know, just saying things like that. But these are coming from people who may or may not have had a 9-to-5 job in like 50 years, and they like live in the woods, and it's their job to speak and preach and keep tradition. So anybody who's in charge of keeping tradition, they're gonna be most likely really old school and not as technically savvy, in my opinion, from what I've seen. I saw that when what's his name, Prince Ayoko was on the live. No smoke, but when he was on the live, and at first he was like, I don't care what you want, I don't care. But when they started shaming his motherfucking name, and he was trying to address all 50,000 of them motherfuckers, you could see that he didn't know how to use it as well. Because I know that in the comment section, just by watching YouTube, you cannot address everything that each person is saying and try to defend yourself. And it came to a point where his people was like, please log off the internet. But that's the same thing my people tell me. Like a year ago when I was getting on the internet, I might have been smiling, but I was anxious as fuck because they hate the internet. Like they be afraid, man. The phones and shit, they do not like it, period. You probably can take a picture, maybe record them, but they don't like looking at it. And I was the same way for a long time. I can use the computer, but I never was a social media person because of the taboos. So anyway, I'm up here rambling, which is good because that means I'm getting comfortable. It's, you know, not easy. So I'm gonna address the negative comment. Some guy a day ago, which I haven't had anybody say anything. Now, I've already addressed my child. I haven't heard anything back. That's fine with me. But I still have the paperwork. The proof is in the pudding. So if there's any like legal investigation type ladies like to report on stories or situations, I have the paperwork. There's no pictures or videos, but there's like messages, and that's a real important. I don't want to talk about who all on there because I get nervous. There was a congressman after this hate crime happened. This congresswoman was trying to help me, VA related. She said, Sephora, if you think that people are watching you, paying attention to you, and they may want to, disrupt your life, make you feel bad, or cause you harm, that is probably what's going on. And this lady, she was prior, I think, Navy something, and she had a whole bunch of, things happen to her in her career. So, and she was white, she told me. The reason why I'm pointing that out because I feel so uncomfortable with what's going on now and just the weirdness. I love everybody, and I took note that the white lady responded first and the young man YouTuber responded first that I had from 3 years ago had his show. So that shows me something. It shows me that with my own people, you have to kind of build up something, because everybody has like blockages, you know. Mm-mm. Let me say the bad man's comment. He said, hold on, get back on there. He said, y'all choose ain't shit men and blame everyone for y'all actions. Also, that other woman was literally selling pussy to build villages. What the fuck do you think was going to happen? And then the other bad comment I got was from the bad rapper. My sister just walked by and wanted to hear what's going on. But the bad rapper commented and said, I don't think that Sephora likes Americans. Bullshit. And that's why it's important for me, like from my childhood, when you move, like I've never stayed in the same place more than 3 to 5 years from what I can remember. And so when you move around, there's other young people and other adults that have had the same experience as you. Like I talked to April, and when I mentioned Berkeley, California, and like Willard and stuff when we was kids, it was so deep. Like she started telling me more and more and more, and I asked her like, just like my shit, I'm learning how to use technology, and we're gonna hash this out. I mean, we're gonna heal from this shit. But yeah, the rapper man said he doesn't think I like Americans. So that's the negative, and that took like 14 minutes that I really didn't want to do, but I'm still learning. But that's proof. That's proof. I didn't get not one response for my child, but I did see my cousin's wife on there saying like, if you can't get, like, she know what time it is because I told her, and she was like, if you can't get no help from everybody you trust, how is you supposed to, trust anybody? But it's like that sometimes. That's why stepping out and finding good people is very important. And I was told after a certain age, it doesn't matter if people are like your kids or your relatives and stuff, everybody's seeking for their own healing. My sister was a stone. She threatened to put me in jail last night, and I started yelling, but she had yelled at me told me what to do, interrupted, sabotaged my time, talked shit to me the whole time I was here. And then I finally had enough because I was trying to make this dress and these purses, and she was just going in, and she would not stop. It was like she wanted me to fight. I just didn't want to. Okay, now positive. We're gonna end on a good note because, like I said, I like poems. Um, Pray for my child. We're gonna get him somewhere. I'm not gonna send him to that treatment center, that uh, real, the real whatever it was, because I never heard from nobody, and we've been abused enough. So in the future, if anything happened, Captain, we've already been talking about it. But people, regular people, just don't. There's nothing they can do. So the folks that I told is just like, oh, praying for you and your family, blah blah blah. All right. Oh, before I do the poem, I feel like I gotta address another negative that I don't like. Now, this is for the Lance Scourge show because I know that it took a lot. I wanted to go there and get mentorship, and it took a lot for me to miss my flight and have all of those things done and find out all of the information I got. I was listening to your show about those groups and stuff, and I had asked a question. One was about helping my child, and the other one was about not grouping these people up. And the reason why I say that, let me tell you a personal story. Now, you know, they put people in the military as early as like 17 and even younger if their parents give them permission. So say you know, your parents give you permission and you black or somebody of color, you trying to get that moolah, your parents let you go in as a teenager, they deploy you right away. And you are somewhere with 20 men and one woman, and you know how scary and predatory men can be. And every time I say anything about a man, men come to each other's defense. They don't want you talking about them or whatever, but they all do the same thing. Our relationships are manifestations of how our family treated us. So I can literally see how I had a tendency to keep certain relationships based on how I was treated. So, say if you got a 17-year-old girl that's going overseas, and me, I was in my 20s and I had my two kids for the first time ever. I went to Iraq 3 times in the beginning of my career, so I didn't live life, you know, computers and stuff wasn't going on. I remember we drove from Georgia to like Missouri using the land navigate, you know, the maps, the papers, you know. So imagine a girl going to overseas and she don't have nobody. And like my kids was school age, so I go to their dances, I volunteer. You know, I like to have fun. But the wives didn't like me. Whenever they would think I was an army wife and I was a single mom, they look at me funny and really didn't want to be friends with me. It was kind of odd. But when my sister came and made friends with people at the daycare center, I was able to have more of a socialization. So the young ladies that you were, no, I won't say young ladies you were speaking of. You were speaking about a certain female group in a, I'm going to call it sorority, fraternal organization that sellouts, bull sellouts. So they were doing community service. So if you are single and you need help and women are coming to you and, you know, some people go to church, you want to have friends. So, and then there's 20 men, you're going to attach to, I hope she just leave me alone. She always interrupting me. You're going to attach to whoever's helping you. I just like to volunteer. I didn't really care too much about that. And then when it comes to that other stuff that you're talking about, I don't know. But say if somebody came there, was in for like a couple of months, didn't like it, and they left. You know what I mean? And I was talking to one of the high priestess, Agon Letty. She like 80 years old, in the area of reparations, old school stuff. Um, I was telling her how, everywhere I go, this weird shit happened. And um, my brother's mom said the same thing. She's like, wherever, like, thing you join, just like me, they're gonna want to have it their way or keep you either working there or being there for a long time if it benefits them more, even if it benefits them more than it benefits you. And I really didn't take that to heart until usually when shit hits you in the face. So what I'm saying is like some people go in and go out. They go to church and they never come back to church. So if you saying that somebody like a young lady like that, like a loner or something that got approached, that's the same as being approached by the church, in my opinion. She want protection. So if she's gotta keep proving herself to you that she's not in the bad way like everybody else, that's just another man that's saying she ain't good enough and she gotta prove herself to. I equivalate it with relationships because it's so dangerous right now. You should not trust your sons or daughters with nobody. These bras are sugar babies taking all of the money, and these men are doing what they do. And I don't care if people do what they do, but we're talking about something. And what disturbs me is when somebody try to interrupt and convince me of something. I'm not going to believe you unless I got the proof. And that something is everybody just want to freak. That's it. And anyway, I know I always just wanted attention and love from my family. And when you come from a family like that and you're different, April called me a rebel. I didn't think of myself as a rebel. I just was trying to discover shit, and I was always getting my ass whipped. Uh, she called me a rebel, and she also told me everybody was calling us the Africans, but only the mean ones, because I only remembered certain people was saying that, and the same certain people ended up being like a damn neighborhood child molesting rapist, taking advantage of everything. And what I talked about happened in Berkeley, California was deep, you know? So I made a commitment to learn how to do YouTube, but I'm like, it seemed like if it's not one thing, it's another thing, you know? I don't think nobody deserves to get bullied, but when you wake up, like, I'm leaving my sister's house, I got the money, or I got some money. And when I was trying to do it by myself, it wasn't working. And when I was trying to do it with a man, he just wasn't there enough to help. So I'm going to TRICARE to get my child help and see where he can go. I pray to God nothing happens, but I've talked about abuse in these treatment centers. And then when I discussed it again, and I discussed it again, I was triggered, like, I want my baby help. Is that a safe place? Is that whatever? And then something else goes on. But I wouldn't be able to say that if nobody ever said it to me. You know what I mean? Like, all right, that's 25 minutes. Okay. I think that's all I'm going to do because my throat is on 10. And then the next one, I'm going to do the poems.